a government, it doesn't matter by who, whether it's a Jubilee government or a NASA government or a government of my party. When we deviate from the rule of law, who is there to say, you must understand the Constitution, you must appreciate the Constitution, and you must live up to the Constitution. Reject this. And my followers will tell you, but whatever this man says, we will follow. Whatever his party says, we will follow. But lawyers can't follow. We are trained to be of an independent mind.
The Law Society of Kenya Annual Conference is an event that we hold every year, bringing together lawyers to discuss on various issues.
It's also an opportunity at which we are able to meet and interact and network with members and with family. We encourage members to come out to the annual conference with their family, time to relax, even as we deliberate on very serious issues that concern the Law Society of Kenya.
The 2017 annual conference theme was on safeguarding the rule of law and democratic gains.
It's a theme that is absolutely central to one of the key functions of the Law Society of Kenya, resonates with our mandate, which also is tied to the professional oath that lawyers take, binding us to uphold the Constitution and to advance the rule of law.
The Commonwealth praised Kenyan lawyers for having the highest standards of lawyering in the world. Now, that praise is now going to be put to test. As we move on, are we going to secure that rule of law? How many of you are prepared to be detained or to go to exile? I remember the leader of North Vietnam was interviewed. If the Americans came back, what would you do? He said, we go back to the mountain. The Kenyan members of the bar must be prepared to go to the mountain.
We had various events. We had a welcome reception on the first day, where we had a representative of the county government, Kwale County. On the first day of the annual conference, we had a keynote speech from the US ambassador and also from the president of the Court of Appeal.
When we consider the role that the rule of law plays in a democracy, we often talk about safeguarding or protecting it. But from what? And first, I think to instill confidence in the law, it's fundamental that it be applied equally. No one can be above the law. When the government is placed in the same position as the individual with respect to the rule of law, private citizens can trust in the leaders they choose and the democratic institutions they have constructed.
In a nutshell, safeguarding the rule of law and our democratic gains will require two key things. Firstly, eternal vigilance on the part of all stakeholders and the development of a tradition of excellence on our part that ensures that we shall never be part of the problem that our people have to contend with. We must be enthusiastic enablers, not impediments to the rule of law.
On the second day, we had a women's breakfast forum. This is the first time we are having a women's breakfast forum at an annual conference, and it was really amazing.
We like to say that our body never lies. Your tongue can lie, but your body never lies. When they ask us in court to raise our hand and swear, what are they looking for? Some have it tilted to the side, others are forward, others lifted from this side, others are here, some have put it down. How you raise your hand tells us what kind of person you are.
First of all, we were fortunate to have two key keynote speakers. On the first day, we had retired Justice Samuel Wakwambuzi, who served as the Chief Justice of Uganda for a period totaling 20 years. So he's very well known by senior lawyers and also very familiar to all those who have studied jurisprudence and have seen his contribution to jurisprudence and to judgments that we have in our law books.
The topic I've chosen is Between the Sword and the Purse, lessons from Uganda regarding the interaction between judicial power and the rule of law. An independent judiciary is essential for the promotion and protection of democracy and the rule of law. Whoever attentively considers the different departments of power must perceive that in a government in which they are separated from each other, the judiciary, from the nature of its functions, will always be the last dangerous to the political rights of the Constitution, because it will be least in capacity to annoy or injure them.
The second day, we were fortunate to have Senior Counsel Firoz Naroji, who made a contribution that enabled us now to reflect on the role that the Law Society has played over the years in the development of constitutional order, the establishment of the Constitution itself, and the role that we have to continue to play to ensure that the rule of law remains at its foremost in the guidance of our society.
When those who control the state and its machinery use it against the people, or sections of the people, or individuals within it, or only for themselves, and thereby harm the remainder of the people, this section is saying there is only one organized body which can protect the victims, and that body is the Law Society of Uganda.
We blame devolution when really the one to blame is the national government, which has not reduced its size but continues growing. It's a very interesting thing. We blame devolution, 47 counties, too many. We have to reduce the size of counties. Devolution is not the problem, and we see that in the budget of Kenya, in the numbers. So what do? Do we increase borrowing? No, it's not sustainable. So the solution seems to be reduce the size of the national government.
Successful investigation and prosecution cannot take place where witnesses are intimidated. They need to be protected for them to come and give evidence. I'm happy to report that the program has been running for the last 3.5 years, and it has grown tremendously. We have been able to process about 932 files or applications for witness protection. Out of that, we have been able to protect about 412 witnesses in 212 cases before court. And out of that, we have about 248 who have successfully testified under protection and discharged.
And we finished up with a gala dinner at which our chief guest was former Deputy Chief Justice Nancy Baraza, who happened to have been one of the members of the Review Commission deliberating on the development of the Constitution many years ago. So we've had the benefit of hearing from very senior members of the legal profession who have played a great role in positioning the Law Society in a key role that it has played in establishing constitutional order and the rule of law as we know it today.
First, the conference comes against the backdrop of the country's remarkable constitutional achievements, which give us a constitutional democracy governed by the rule of law. As you all know, the democracy that we are enjoying today, and the democracy and the rule of law that we are seeking to safeguard, is a direct result of the work of Lawyers and the Law Society of Kenya.
On Saturday, we had golf. We usually have president's golf. Lawyers participate together with other golfers within the community. The event was successful. We also had a corporate social responsibility activity. We went to NN Ngori Primary School, where we launched a project constructing latrines for the primary school. This primary school was at the verge of being closed down for lack of toilets. The project is still ongoing. It's not yet complete, but in the next 2 weeks, the constructions will be over.
The school started existing without toilets, and the school continued existing without toilets. And again, we have the ratio of the kids to the toilet, which was a big issue with the public health. They had said they're closing out the school. So when we went knocking and saying we didn't need to help this, the public health said, yes, thank you, we are going to solve our problem because we are actually closing down the school. So you have helped a school survive closure. You have helped 400 kids get another day of being in school.
2017 annual conference was exceptionally good. That is from the feedback that we have received from those who participated. We encourage our members who have not had an opportunity to participate this year, and even those who were able to participate this year. 2018 annual conference will be more exciting, will be more educative. We are looking forward to it. We ask you to look out and plan and prepare to participate.
What we would like to do as next year is to try and make the conference accessible to younger members. This year we rolled out, as we do every year, a young members package where we have costs that are slightly subsidized for them. But we'd like to continue to encourage to have members coming out with their families. You know, this is an event when we don't just want to network as professionals, we also want to be able to allow our members to get to know each other at a personal level, meet family members. This is one of the ways that we can enhance professional camaraderie. One of the challenges that we've had as a profession is trying to deepen relations within the profession, particularly between younger and older lawyers. You know, there's a long tradition of mentoring that the profession seems to have lost emphasis of, and one of the avenues that we can use during events like this, when members are able to mix, encourage juniors and seniors to get to know each other at a personal level. That improves tremendously how they interact professionally.
We have to remember that if the professions had held on to their standards and to the proper conduct, our dark days would not have arisen. Our dark days arose because advocates agreed to take fixed cases. Judges and magistrates agreed to give false judgments. Accountants signed false certificates and payments. Engineers signed false certificates of completion. Doctors gave false post-mortems reports. Government lawyers advised acceptance of false contracts. Architects designed Nyayo houses, torture chambers. Do not think that the age in which you live and practice now, and I'm speaking to younger colleagues, do not think that the age you live in is devoid of heroic opportunity. The protection, the implementation, the safekeeping of this hard-won constitution is this generation's task. Ideals do not create a country, but no country can exist without ideals. The rule of law does not emerge only from ideals, but there can be no rule of law without ideals. Democratic gains are not attained only by ideals, but there can be no democracy without ideals.